What's up, family? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we are hanging out right here in the city of Atlanta. Tune in, let's go. All right, y'all, so if this is your first time here on the channel, allow me to welcome you to the channel. This is Atlanta, Georgia Living. This channel is all about educating you about the city of Atlanta, Atlanta suburbs, and what real estate offerings that you can expect if you planning on buying or selling here in Atlanta and Atlanta metropolitan area. So if you need any of my assistance, all of my contact information is in front of you and can always be found in the video description below. I love to set up a consultation with you to see what your goals are and see if we'll be a good fit to go on that journey together. Yes, I do work with buyers and sellers every single day from this YouTube channel. So you can feel free to reach out to me. You will not be the first and you will not be the last client to reach out to me. So definitely I invite you to do that if you are ready to embark on your journey. All right. And if you are a subscriber or a frequent viewer, thank you so much for coming back to watch a new video here on Atlanta, Georgia Living. So what I want to do today is show you this new community here in the city of Atlanta. It's not necessarily a super new community. It is a finish out of an existing community, but the price point is the thing that I wanted to show you. This series is going to continue to go along the lines of price points, monthly price points as far as expectations, what you can expect to see in a certain price point. And so today it brings us to just about $2,000, city of Atlanta. What can you expect to see? All right. Now, again, this is on a new construction type of interface. So at $2,000 a month, you can expect your purchase budget to be anywhere from $250 to about $265, just depend on the interest rate that you are going to get based on your credit score. Interest rates are determined by credit score. Purchasing power is determined by income. All right. So that's a tip for you to remember. Take that away from this video. Interest rate is determined by your credit score. Okay. So depending on your credit score, will give you the interest rate, and that will kind of alter that exact purchase power that you will be left with, okay? But at the end of the day, that's a safe estimation. And with new construction communities, there are so many incentives that you can actually gain to bump up that purchase power, because a lot of them have special arrangement with lenders where they buy a block of discount points at a discounted rate to be able to offer that to the buyer to get those interest rates at a fixed rate, much lower than what you would originally be able to get if you went into the general market. General market basically means a resale home, okay? So you guys, look at that, education right there, all right? We wanna make sure that you're walking away from watching this content feeling empowered and educated. Not just entertained, but educated. So very first thing, let me tell you a little bit about the community and where it's located. So this community is located in the south quadrant of the city of Atlanta. It is inside of the city limits. This is not a suburb. This is the city limits. All right, this neighborhood is called Ben Hill. The name of the community is the Ben Hill community or Ben Hill neighborhood. I am very familiar with Ben Hill. I actually grew up in Southwest Atlanta myself. This actual community is zoned based on my high school for sure. I graduated from Thurl High School. And so this community is zoned in Thurl High School district. So from a school district standpoint, I would say middle of the road, all right? Definitely a school district that is conforming, that is improving. Thurl actually went through a lot of overhaul physically and academically. So that school is positioning itself to be very, very, very compatible and capable of actually taking on some of its competition in the Atlanta Public School District. So conforming school district as a whole, increasing performance year over year. Now, at this price point, I'm gonna be honest with you, schools cannot be your #1 priority if you only can afford $260,000. That's just flat out, okay? Take it how you want to take it, but that's the truth, right? Your purchase power puts you into neighborhoods that you can afford, and those neighborhoods sometimes have some inferiority in some sort of way, whether that's school or socioeconomic issues like, you know, maybe hood adjacent or something of that nature. So there will be something that you're going to have to conform with at this price point of $250,000. $200,000 to $275,000. All right. So that's where the location of this community is, super close to the airport. So if airport access is important to you, this one knocks it out of the ballpark. Also, the rental cap for this community has not been met. So from a long-term exit strategy, this community right here, you can actually buy it and actually see some benefits of it. You can turn it into an Airbnb, you can turn it into a long-term rental. You got some ways in which you can actually start to increase your wealth, all right? And having that generational wealth, passing things down from one generation to the next. I think that should be, this gets you in the door to be able to do that, all right? So that's the location. What is the offer? So these townhomes are actually priced, okay? There's some fluctuating in price, but $264,900 is the price that we're gonna take a look at, okay? They are increasing the price every 2 to 3 units sold, so the prices will increase. But generally speaking, 264 to 275 is gonna be the target for this community until closeout, likely. All right, so that is the offering of the price. These are gonna be 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. They're all the exact same floor plan, so not much to choose from there. But the builder is actually offering at this moment $10,000 in seller incentives. You can use it however you want. You can use it to get down the interest rate even more, buy down the interest rate even more, or you can use it for your closing costs. Also, there is a 2% lender credit that's been offered by the preferred lender. So if you do go with the preferred lender, you'll get that incentive. I always say, look, if you're buying a new build, you definitely want to go with the preferred lender to get those incentives. If not, you're leaving money on the table, and it just doesn't make sense to me. And then the earnest money for this community is $1,500. So the cost of entry is quite affordable as well. Also, this community does qualify for Invest Atlanta. Invest Atlanta is a down payment incentive program. I haven't talked a lot about it. I will share more information about it on the channel, you know, in weeks and months to come throughout my videos. But Invest Atlanta, this community does qualify for it. You can get anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 in down payment assistance here in this community from Invest Atlanta. So if you do not have a whole lot of money in the bank, but you do have that dream to buy a home and to pay a little bit less than rent for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath that's brand new, that you can actually turn into a rental if you want to and make passive income, you could do that with this community. Now, Invest Atlanta does have some requirements like, you know, longevity of ownership and things like that. So you have to figure out what's gonna work in your best interest. Do you take their money and kind of be boxed into that little strategy for a while? Or do you, you know, come in and pay your own down payment and take some of the seller's money for the remainder and not have any of those overlays from a down payment assistance program? So that choice will be yours to make. All right, HOA here is pretty cheap. It's about $40 a month. There are no amenities as it relates to pool, tennis courts, and things like that. So it's definitely affordable. The goal is get your house, move into it, take care of it, and make some passive income after you've moved on from the townhome lifestyle, all right? So I think that's pretty much a synopsis of what the offering is. I'm gonna go ahead and flip the camera around now and take you inside of one of the available units. It is not finished, all right? This is the rough and dirty. If you are a subscriber on the channel or a frequent viewer, you know how I operate. I wanna show you the exact house in the exact location, and then I'm gonna take you into one of the finished units so that you can see the finished touches and you know, the exact appliances and fixtures that they put into the units. So let's go ahead and get into it right now. All right, so you can see the exterior here. This is one of the buildings. This is the unit that we're gonna go into for purposes of our video today. So out of what's available, I believe this whole building here is still available. That first unit here on the end has sold, it's under contract. But this is pretty much the layout there in the rough. And then let me show you the other side, which is quite rough. There's only 9 more units to be built in the community or finished out, and they're done, all right? I am gonna take you in the car, and I'll probably send up the drone as well if I can, to show you what the overall area looks like. There are existing townhomes in this community, so you'll be able to see that. Now let me show you what the finished version of the community will look like with the grass and the doors and the shutters painted and all of that. So as you can see, it's a pretty clean approach. Dress right dress. You do have a parking pad. And you do have some overflow parking here that will remain after the sales center is closed. But let me just show you how it all flows in as well into one, because again, these communities do bump up to each other as far as the old builds and the new builds. So you can see the old builds coming into view here. Same concept, but they were actually three-story townhomes right in here. And you can see the backside of the building that we're gonna go into. There's nothing behind it. This is just gonna be pretty much an overflow of stormwater, but not a retaining or retention pond. I know it's kind of crazy, right? The piping is under the ground, so it shouldn't swell up, but there are, I believe there's one drain in the middle. In the event that it does, it will still drain out. But I asked the builder, you know, what are the plans over there? Is pretty much they're gonna clean it up a bit, but it's gonna grow back because it's kind of I think it's called kudzu. So it's running vines, running grass and things like that. So, all right, let's go ahead and go into the unit that is for sale. And again, it's priced at $264,900, and it's gonna be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. The square foot, let's see if they disclosed the exact square footage. A lot of times these builders don't. Looks like they did not. I don't have the exact square footage, but we can find out if you're interested in it. But the layout is pretty simple. You know, you walk into the house and you got your foyer and a open living area. So let's go ahead and go in. Let me see if the front door is unlocked. If not, we'll just go through the garage. All right. Okay, so walking into it, you do have a little bit of a foyer here. Okay, I'm not gonna do too much talking in here, but a little bit, just to show you what you can see or what you should be seeing. But you do have a little entry foyer, and then a powder room here. Again, there's no lights in here. I'm gonna show you a finished one, but I wanna show you what it looks like from the beginning. But it's gonna be the pedestal sinks. So your pedestal sink here, and then your toilet there, okay? So it's a pretty simple layout. You come in from your garage here, but here is a view of the garage. Your hot water tank would be in the garage, which is nice, on the ground. In the event that there's some overflow or some water leaking, you're not gonna, you know, get a flooded ceiling here. So coming in, this is the living room / open kitchen area. So again, very, very simple approach. Let's go ahead and lay out your kitchen for you. You can see the sink is gonna be freestanding in the island, okay? Those are your supply lines, which are drain. And then you're gonna have so if you had to kind of get the vision, I am standing just about at the end of the kitchen now, looking. So there's gonna be cabinets across here and cabinets across here. And they're gonna stop about probably where that mud is there. And then at the bottom, there will be cabinets there as well. All right, refrigerator is gonna go over in the corner. And then you have a small little pantry that will have probably 4 or 5 rows or shelves for you to use for your canned goods and whatever the case. All right. Looks like your stove is likely gonna be on this side here. And then you'll have a little breakfast area, just about, kind of like breakfast / living area, kind of there. So it will have an eat-in kitchen vibe to it, but you'll see the finished version here in a moment, okay? But I do like the view because it's unobstructed. Yeah, you got the vines or the overgrowth of the kudzu or whatever the world is exact species of grass it is, and you can see the manhole over there, so water can drain out still if it does overflow. And this unit is quite elevated too. It almost feels as if though you're gonna have a basement with how elevated it is. You can kind of see the stilts here for the deck there. I don't know if you can see it. Yep, you should be able to. But this is really nice. Nice little deck out here. You can put out your patio furniture. You know, again, this is a start. But when people say, well, you know, I can't find an affordable property, then, you know, or the monthly mortgages are so high, I don't want to pay it, right? I tell anybody, if you're price conscious, your first start should be new construction, and it likely should be a townhouse in a no rental cap or a not met rental cap area, if you will, because that's where you're gonna be able to have that exit strategy assembled and be able to get the advantages of home ownership and take advantage of the advantages of home ownership, which is that complete autonomy to be able to rent your property, do whatever you want to do with it, you know? And you're paying comparable, you're actually gonna be paying less for a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath with a attached garage than you would be if you go rent. So it is still semi-affordable to own versus renting. There are little opportunities that you can find. So these are the 2 secondary bedrooms. They're not huge. They're not huge. I would say in this room, probably a full-size bed. I wouldn't even do a queen, and I don't have my wide angle lens, so it's kind of hard to see. But if we had to do the scale there on the floor, as you can see, not huge bedrooms. I would say a full-size bed at the max. Twin-size bed would be perfect, okay? But you could put a queen in. It would just have very, very minimal furniture with it. This room gets a little bit bigger. So this one definitely can have a queen-size bed without any restrictions. Very simple layouts. Let me show you back in this corner here. And this one does have a small little, I guess you can call it a walk-in, but it's not. It's like a little step-in, okay? But it will have a door, not any type of bifolds. Okay, and then you have the hall bathroom here in the hallway for these 2 secondary rooms. Very standard. It looks like you're gonna have a single vanity, just a toilet right there in the middle. Again, very much a start. So that brings up the question, well, before I go into that, let's finish. Let's finish the unit, Raymond. All right, so we got our laundry room here. Got our overflow piped out with the drip pan, which is nice. You know, bifold doors here, very standard, but we do get a sense of privacy in the primary bedroom being in the back of the unit. You know, a little bit away from the secondary bedrooms, and you can fit a king-size bed in this room, okay? I know my angles aren't the best with this camera, but you get to see the layout for the most part. But king-size bed, you can put it up against the wall on this way. So on this wall, looking towards us now, you can fit it. Again, it will be tight. I ain't gonna say tight. It's just we won't have a lot of space. Like, you have a little bit of space in the front, so you have to be strategic with your other dressers and things like that, but you could make it work, okay? And then in the bathroom, nice and spacious actually. You're gonna have a double vanity here, okay? And you do have separate tub and shower, which I think kind of keeps you in date with 2025 and beyond. Beautiful little picture view. I mean, you can see the retention pond on the other side, actually. You see it? I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can zoom in. So you can see that water, that's water there on the other side, okay? So one side is dry and the other side is not, okay? All right, so after we pass the vanities, we have our, actually have a water closet for the toilet. So nice and private. You can go in there and close the door and handle your business. All right, and then we have a walk-in closet. This closet is actually pretty doggone nice for a townhouse. You know, pretty nice, and you can make it even nicer if you were to bring in shelving units. and really get the organization done in here. But real nice size for a townhouse. Try to get that scale for y'all. Yeah, I mean, but this is offering $264,900 brand new. You could probably, doesn't say probably because there's no guarantees. I don't know who you are and your qualifications, but probably you can buy this house with just about no money out of your pocket, but about $1,500 if you play your cards right. So home ownership is not as far away as some people make it seem. What I'm gonna do now is show you one of the units that's actually finished. So you can see what the finishing touches are in real time. But here is a view of the existing community in view, okay? And you can kind of see the difference. One of the things I very much dislike that they used to do is these mailboxes. And typically that makes a community look bad in itself. Because I'm looking down this road, I see some leaning, I see some different colors. It's a lot going on. If I was an HOA president, I tell you, people would probably hate me because I would say, look, let's try to get together and get all these mailboxes out of here. It would change overall that clean approach, right? So I'm just gonna give you that pan into the new side, okay? Because I know that's probably like, well, what does the new side look like? In addition, adjacent to the old side, all right? All right, so let's do it right. Let's do it right. All right, as soon as you walk in, same thing, right? Now, one of the things I'll tell you, which you're gonna be like, wow, it looks so different. When the property is finished, it typically looks bigger than the rough construction, okay? So let's go ahead and walk through this one. So again, walk in, you got the entry foyer, and then you'll be able to get to see that powder room finish. All right, so here's that powder room that I was trying to paint the vision, right? Pretty standard. We got our light over the mirror. We got our pedestal sink. Nice crown molding at the bottom, or baseboards at the bottom. And we got our toilet there, okay? Come back through. We got our garage. Let's get this light on. There we go. And the garages are finished, okay? Finished in the sense of with a motor, with paint, with baseboards, ready to go, okay? And you can see the hot water tank installed, okay? And then we go in, you can see the flooring color. All of the units are exactly the same. So from what I was told, okay, they're all the same. So you will get the same cabinet color, same countertop, same flooring. And this flooring is like, we could probably call them 5-inch planks. LVP, they're interlocking. So they're not real wood, but they look good, okay? Let's take a look at that. Now this one is under contract, so don't fall in love with this one, but just fall in love with the finished approach of it, okay? That's what you need to do. We was just in that building before, just to give you some orientation of where we are and kind of what you can expect. Now with that building, you're not gonna have the pad, you're only gonna have the deck. But the deck is just about the same size as the pad here, okay? So, and I believe that all of these on this side are under contract. This is something I want to show y'all. This little thing here is a pest bond. Well, this is the brand here is Pest Man who they're working with. But the process of this is a whole house pest control system, and it goes inside of the walls, y'all. When you're living in a townhouse, that's one of the biggest concerns, right? It's like, well, who am I living next to? And do they clean up their house? They may not even clean. This right here is all in between the walls. And so all of the pest control products, the actual deterrent and baiting is actually in between the walls. So that is a more effective way to do pest control, especially in a townhouse setting when you can't control what your neighbor is doing as far as cleaning their house. So remember I told you it was like a little breakfast area slash, eat-in kitchen. So this is it. You get to see it, and it's actually not a bad size. I mean, for a townhouse, okay? I just omitted turning that light on. It works, I'm sure. Let me just show you that it works, right? Because I don't want somebody in the comments, oh, you didn't turn on all of the lights. Can you believe that? I'm sure somebody would say it. All right, let me show you the finished pantry. Okay, and you can see this kitchen is laid out nicely, right? You know, again, seeing it rough is not always ideal for the purpose of, you know, is it attractive, is it not? I just like to show you the exact offerings, okay? But you got an electric stove and you have the stainless steel with the granite. For $264,900, this is equipped pretty nicely, okay? You could have had Formica. if you old school and you know what Formica is, you know what I mean. So to be able to see granted at 264, 265 rounded up isn't bad. All right, let's run upstairs real quick. Now, again, interior, let me turn you around. I don't want to spin you too fast. You're not gonna get this window in an interior unit, right? Okay, just want to point that out. So it would be a little dark in the interior units, but the same flow, okay? Let's go take a look at these secondary bedrooms because, you know, this is the larger one. You can see this is the one that can fit that queen size bed with no problem. See, I told you. This is the one that is a bit more on the small side. Okay. Show you that finished closet real quick. So you see this is a step in. Great for, you know, toddler's room, kids room. This is great for an actual guest room, and you can kind of see that semi walk in there taking shape. And I'll show you the view from the door here. You can see really nice room, perfect size guest bedroom. And even though you're in a townhouse, right? Because you could be, you know, just one person and you want a guest room and you want, you know, an office, if you will. So that could work as well. So here is the finished bathroom. They went with a marble. That could be quartz, I'm not sure. This flooring, let's get down here and see if it's real. Let's see if it's real, y'all. It's not real. It's not real. It's actually vinyl, okay? But are you mad at 265? It looks real. But it's still quality, okay? But it is vinyl. All right, let's take a look at the finished laundry. We do have a dedicated light in there, which is nice. And, you know, pretty basic. Same flooring from the bathroom carried into the laundry, which is nice. And I do like the fact that they use like these big, I think these are 12 by 12 size, the planks. They actually look better than just a sheet of vinyl. And then let's go into the primary bedroom. So you can see that primary is laid out pretty nicely. Carpet everywhere, but still laid out very nicely. Two big windows bringing in tons of light into the house, the room. Your thermostat for upstairs is in the primary bedroom as well, so quite convenient. Same tile, well, sorry, same vinyl in the primary bathroom, okay? You can finally get to see what that's gonna look like. The double vanities there with the white cabinets. I'm glad they went with white. And the reason I'm glad they went with white is because when you have a small space, the lighter the colors, the better the room is gonna feel. The darker the colors, the more restricting, or the more, the smaller the room is gonna feel. Get my words together, Raymond. All right, so you do have a little glass door, right? That's another thing. We're seeing, ooh, okay. We're seeing that magnet wanted to stick. It's a little wonky, but to see the door at 265, they could have just put up a curtain rod up there, right? So we start talking about value proposition. I think they got it right. What y'all think? Drop a comment down below and let me know what you think. Did they do it right? Did they give you what you paid for, or do you feel like you're lacking? All right. So pretty nice in my opinion. So definitely very nice in my opinion. I think they did it right, y'all. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And if you're interested in one of these units, there are still opportunities here. And as I said, Invest Atlanta, you can get in here with very little money out of your pocket. I think that's one of the things, you know, people think you gotta have 20% to buy a house, and that's not the case, all right? And especially when you have these down payment assistance programs, they're designed to help you get inside of these homes. So feel free to reach out to me. All of my contact information is in front of you. I love to hear from you. We'll schedule a consultation to get your home search started. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Hit the red button if you like this video, because I do these all the time. So if you want to be notified when I post more content just like this, hit the red button, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and drop a comment down below, all right? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on another video. Stay motivated. Until next time, take care.